Listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. Welcome back to this Friday morning in the heart of the 618. Friend of the show at this point, Dr. Kristen Jacobs, joins us now. Of course, Ooh La La, if you guys didn't know, celebrating 15 years in Glen Carbon, which right off the bat, congratulations. How does that feel?
Thanks. Well, it feels fast. Like, how has 15 years gone by? It's incredible. And I can't tell you how much I love this community, all the support we have gotten over the years. And I'm really a part of it. And I've been a part for many years, not just being because we're 15, but it's the best place you could ever live. I mean, it truly is.
Absolutely. And I know that Glen Carbon's happy to have Ooh La La there as well. But speaking of community, I think what you've done better than anybody is the community that you have established with Ooh La La and providing these tips and tricks for women of all backgrounds to really, feel their best self and raise awareness to important issues. And, you're a best-selling author with the book, Live Life Beautifully. I Love the Wall, with a little help, of course. And September's Menopause Awareness Month. And Dr. Jacobs, I'm going to do what I do best, and I'm going to say the floor is your senator, because there's so many tips I'm sure that you could provide for us and all the women in the area to help raise even more awareness to this very important topic.
For sure. Thank you. And thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it. This talk isn't just going to be about menopause, because we start obviously aging from the time we're born. And so my book is about how to age healthily. How do we do this in the best way that we possibly can? So yes, menopause is a huge part of a woman's life, but if we start off knowing that, like you said, the tips and the tricks from the beginning, once we get to menopause, we're good. So we know that our collagen slows down as early as our 20s. And by the time we get into our 50s, not saying that, some of us may be there or not, we're not going to admit anything. Collagen slows down even more. And then it's also getting broken down. So the things that we have to do at all ages, but especially at menopause, is we have to really focus on collagen stimulation. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. But I always say start with skincare. And skincare is one of the best ways. And then you can add other things. The other thing that we see, throughout the seasons, but definitely when we hit menopause, is dry skin. And some people are blessed with oily skin early on in life and they don't love it, but it's going to be better for them as they age because they are hydrated and there'll be less wrinkles. So as we get to our menopausal age, we really need to focus on hydration. And I'm going to go back to skincare. There are products that we have that will help your body stimulate that hydration and help you go through this process a little bit easier.
And if you could, Dr. Jacobs, could you fill us in on some of the products that you do have that maybe our audience might not be too familiar with?
Absolutely. So we use Skin Medica products, and I talk about this a lot in my book as to why I choose the products and the services that I do. And the reason I choose Skin Medica is because of all the science that backs it up. So if you just run into Walgreens and you pick up let's say a hyaluronic acid product, which is what we need for hydration. So if you pick one of those up, it's going to work for a little bit, but there really aren't any active ingredients that are going to change the physiology of your skin. So the products that we choose have so much science that prove that the physiology of our skin is going to improve. So again, that aging healthy. So how do we make our body continue to produce collagen, produce hyaluronic acid, all the things that we lose? So one of the products, one of our most favorite products, is our TNS A+. And the TNS A+ tells your body to produce collagen. So as I said, as early as our 20s, we are starting that to slow down the collagen production. So we need to tell our bodies, hey, get together, let's go, let's produce this collagen. That's my favorite product. That is the number one product, in my opinion, that everybody should have as far as healthy aging goes. I keep talking about hyaluronic acid because that's hydration for your skin. It's different than moisture, like a moisturizer. This is actually going down into your skin, telling your skin to produce the hyaluronic acid. I always like to pretend like your skin is a sponge. And you know what happens when we have a sponge, the water makes the sponge fluff up. So as we age, think of your skin as this sponge and it's gonna do this. And so how do we plump it back up? Well, we need water to go into that sponge. that's where that hyaluronic acid, comes in. But it's more than just that, because like I said, you can go to the drugstore and get some HA products, but the difference with ours or the Skin Medica ones is that they have 5 different molecules. So you have a short acting, you have long acting, you have an anti-inflammatory. There are many options, but the product has a technology that goes down into the skin, into your sponge, and tells your body to produce the water, produce that hyaluronic acid. So I think it's super important when choosing products to see what are the active ingredients, but also where do they come from? And is there science to back it up? And again, that's why we choose our Skin Medica products, because I think there are over 250 studies that they've done. So we know that it's going to work.
Well, there's a reason Ooh La La is one of the best places to go, not only in the region, but the entire Midwest, is because of that research just there and knowing your material, knowing your product, knowing what these ingredients do. Because I said it time and time again, I don't know anything about skincare. I'm just going to be honest. I had my microderms in high school, I'll be honest, and had some cystic acne.
Awesome.
And but the one thing I never understood was the moisturizing aspect of it, because I thought the same thing. I'm going, well, what about layers 4, 5, and 6 that are underneath the first layer of skin here? Is that healthy? And that's a huge point of this too, as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I haven't mentioned yet, but the best thing that anybody can do for their skin is using the right sunscreen. So I talked about, the collagen stimulation and the hydration, because those are 2 things that as we age, we lose. But what people need to be doing at a baby is using the right kind of sunscreen. And when I say right kind, I mean a physical sunblock. But the new research out there is not just about the sun that's creating aging. It's the blue light. So sitting in front of your computer, using our cell phones all the time. Aging happens because this blue light is affecting our skin. Also think of pollution. Think of infrared radiation. So there are a lot of other things that go into the aging process. So if there's one thing, menopause or no menopause, male, female, baby, whatever age, if there's one thing you take out of this, it's please choose a sunscreen that has more than just SPF. It has this other kind of protection. And this is a whole nother topic for sure.
I was about to say that's another 2-hour podcast in itself. That's interesting.
It is, because there's so much about the ingredients. There's so much about what you need to do to protect your skin, and prevention first. That's really what we need to be doing with all of us. And if I could reach every single kid and say, listen, this is what you need to do, you'll have less wrinkles, you'll have more hydration, your skin will look incredible.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask you this too, because I've heard this from a couple of older individuals that worked in medical fields, and they always said, well, if your grandpa would just have drank water, that would have helped his skin. Does that actually help?
I mean, you need to be hydrated.
Okay.
Our body is such a high percentage of water. So yes, I mean, think about it. And again, the sun kind of takes all that hydration out of there too. But think about it. If you are dehydrated, your skin is going to look more wrinkly. It's going to look more dry. So is that the only thing you need to do? No, but it is definitely important to drink our water, not just for our skin, but for all of the cells in our body.
Absolutely. And so it goes back to almost when we first talked about preventative maintenance, and really just taking care of ourselves before the check engine light starts to flicker a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And so my philosophy is called Skin Plus Body. The end part is the nutrition part, which water falls into that category. So you have to think of aging as, how do we do this in a healthy manner? How can we do things that are going to help us look better? Is yes, important, but feel better. And it all just goes together. And that's the whole purpose of what my book is. And obviously the whole purpose of my education at Ooh La La is that it's more than just doing a little Botox. It's more than doing just a little product. It's really about the whole person, a holistic approach to healthy aging.
Well, and that's such a huge point too, because I'm sure, Dr. Jacobs, you've heard stories of some clients that maybe have gone to institutions before they stop through the doors of Ooh La La, and maybe they've run into individuals that aren't as well versed and aren't as well really just knowledgeable in these fields. And, those things can deter people, but to know that when you're going in the door, I mean, we're getting an education. And I think that's needed for everybody, regardless if you're going to say yes to a product or service or no.
I agree 100%. And that's what it's all about. And I tell patients all the time, like, you just have to listen to me talk because I want to tell you what's happening. Like, I get so excited about it. I'm obviously so passionate about it. They don't have to choose to do everything. They don't have to choose to do anything. But if they take something out of it, which, like I said, the one thing out of this one is that let's make sure we're on a quality sunscreen. And, that's what I'm about. I want to educate. I want to make sure people have what they need to make the right decision. And I do want to mention, because I didn't, Color Science is a product that we use for our sun care, but I also use it as my makeup. And it has all those things that I was talking about, that physical block, the UVA, UVB, the infrared, the blue light, the pollution protection. And that's really, really important.
Well, it really is. And then on top of that, too, I mean, I wanted to ask you when the nuances of all these medicines and formulas started coming into play, because I always find that fascinating, too, when all of this research is being put together and all of these products and formulas are starting to come out. How do you decide whether or not per study or per caseload of, is this something we explore? I find that fascinating. Could you fill me in?
So you could say I'm an old dog, and I don't like, to learn new things. However, that's not true. I feel 100% confident that SkinMedica is the best product on the market because of their science. So it's not to say I won't entertain anything else. That's not the case, but there are no other companies out there that have as many studies, scientific backed, basic, studies. So I am in very good friends with the formulators at SkinMedica. And so if something comes out and a patient asks about it and I don't know the answer, I call them. And I'm going to tell you, they do not give me a biased answer. They do not say, hey, you can only use our products. That's not what they say. They'll give me the research as to why they maybe wouldn't use that one. Or maybe they would use it, because there are products that they say, you know what? I mean, that is a good product. It's totally fine to use. So I feel extremely confident with the support system that I have, with the results that I've seen over the last 15 years. And I don't feel it's necessary, as far as products go, to search out new things, because I just don't think the science is there.
Well, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it's working and helping, so that's the testament in itself.
I love seeing before and after photos, and it's funny because everybody complains about them. Every single patient, I have patients who've been coming for all 15 years, and they complain every time. And I tell them, well, this is how we can show you that these products are working, because you see yourself in the mirror every single day. And so you don't see the changes, because you're still looking in going, oh my gosh, where did this line come from? I still look old. What's happening? Maybe not everybody does that, but I do that. So we have to have something
I do it too.
Provide proof. Okay, good. So I'm not the only one out there. But you have to show proof. And to me, that's science too. I know it's not some, scientific, crazy study, but that really is what makes me happy, is really seeing the results.
Well, and
so what I was going to say, that products, I'm pretty, stuck in my ways here because they work, but services are different. So we are always looking for great services and looking at the science and the technology behind the services. So that we do move through and get new services every single year. And that's what's so exciting about this industry, is there's just so much innovation. There's so many new things that are just awesome and will help us age in a healthy manner.
Absolutely. And going into something that I noticed too, and I saw from the American Academy of Dermatology too, is going back to that collagen conversation. I didn't realize, Dr. Jacobs, and I mean, this is really an eye-opener, that a woman's skin loses about 30% of its collagen within the first 5 years of menopause. And even though we're kind of touching on a little bit of everything, I think that's really important to highlight. It goes back to what you said about, making sure we're kind of taking care of this before it gets to this point.
Right. Giving it as best of a boost as we can before we hit that. And, that 30% is actually on top of all of the decreased production that starts in our 20s. So it is so important. It's kind of like your bone mass. We have to really protect our bones. We think the same thing with our skin. What can we do to prevent that breakdown? You're never going to prevent it because we're aging, but what can we do to decrease that or to stimulate more? So I think you're right. I mean, it's 30%, but that's on top of what we've already lost. So
wow.
I mean, we're happy to be, at certain ages, but we need to figure out how we can best work these ages out. That's what I say.
100% agreed. And, could you take me through some of the treatments too? Because I know that we talked about some products, but if it's okay with you, I'd love to talk about a few of the treatments.
Of course. So I always say, think of your skin in layers. You have different layers that we have to hit. So the deeper the layer, the more, let's say, invasive, maybe the more intense we're going to have. So my absolute favorite treatment that I think everybody should have annually is our Ultherapy. So it goes to that deepest layer, and it stimulates the collagen production. So it uses heat energy. And we have an ultrasound and we can see where we are stimulating that collagen. So the Ultherapy is going to be like I said, the deepest, but it's going to give you the best collagen stimulation. If you take a step up, then you look at our Secret RF, and what that is it also stimulates collagen, but it also has microneedling. And now I'm throwing out a lot of big words, and so it's hard to do it, super fast, which is why we spend so much time with our patients.
Right.
But microneedling uses needles, and it goes down and creates a little injury to the skin, and then the skin says, "Oh, hey, what's going on? I better heal myself." So that's how it's stimulating collagen. Then the RF part of it, so Secret RF, is radio frequency. So it's similar to what I just said with the Ultherapy, is that it uses heat, but the heat is in the needle. So as it's going down in there, it's heating up as well. So it hits different layers. So my absolute favorite combo is doing those two treatments, and I do those annually. The Secret RF, you need to start with 3, and then you maintain with another one. Another one quarterly.
Wow.
So those are the 2 deepest collagen stimulation treatments we have. And then we recently brought in a new laser called the Cyton laser, and it offers more like skin resurfacing. And if you have brown spots, it can help to get rid of, I should say decrease. I never like the word get rid of, because we're never going to get rid of anything, but decrease and improve the appearance of brown spots. Brown spots come from the sun. Brown spots come from aging. Brown spots increase when we hit menopause because all that damage is coming to the surface of the skin. So that's why I say you're never going to get rid of it. It's more about maintaining, and it's more about doing treatments throughout the year. So what I love about the new BBL is called Forever Young BBL. What I love about that is that it also has an anti-aging property to it. So it's helping to stimulate collagen on a more superficial level. So remember that top layer of the skin. Mm-hmm. So we have options for all different layers. Obviously the combo is going to be the best, but we all can't walk into the clinic and spend, all this money. So I tell my patients that we're going to look at your goals, your lifestyle, and your budget. And then we're going to come up with a treatment plan that's going to work for all 3 of those. And I can guarantee that we'll get some kind of result. If we're watching the photos, we will see some kind of a result, even with the minimal amount of treatments and products.
That is such a huge point, because to me, and just for me going through, like I told you about the microderms and things, those procedures sometimes can get a little costly if you keep, adding on top of them. And not everyone's a multimillionaire out there, has the money to spend, but it's really good to know that, if you go into Ooh La La, let's just sit down, let's talk about this first, and let's see what the best step forward is for that individual. And I think that's highly important.
Thanks. And really that's what we do. And it, like I said, it comes down to the education. And if you understand how the aging process works, then you can understand how we can slow that process down. Or we can go backwards and try to correct it. But really, it's better to prevent, protect, like I was talking about with the sunscreen, and then correction comes later if we have to do that. So education, education, education. And I totally agree with you. Not every person can walk in the door and spend a ton of money. So we look at all the options and we educate as to, well, okay, if you do this, this is what you're going to see. And it's not an overnight thing. It's a long-term, long treatment plan. There's no quick fix. I wish there was a quick fix. Believe me, I will be first in line, but there just isn't.
Well, and too, that's actually a fascinating point too that I never even thought of with this process is the mental side of things for the client as they're expecting that overnight result and maybe it's taken a little bit longer. What's your advice to maybe somebody that is going through a procedure right now or going through some of those treatments that maybe aren't getting the results they expected overnight?
Right. And believe me, we see that daily because we are a society that wants instant gratification.
Absolutely.
I mean, who doesn't? But that's where that initial, actually it's a lot of hand holding throughout the thing because you have to understand that how long have we been aging? So now we have to figure out how to slow this down. So we have to just continue to explain that it just takes longer. Photos. I've said it, 4 times. The photos are so important. Yep. And really the funny thing is when you look at a before and after photo, after feeling like you don't have any results at all, you actually, I mean, it's not every time. There are some people that we don't see the right results that I want to see, but you'll see results. That's why photos are so important. And I have my photos hanging in my office. I don't know, I'm in my training center right now. I don't know that I have them in here, but I want instant gratification. So in 2010 is when I started using the TNS with SkinMedica. And in 2013, they had a new product that came out for lightening and brightening up the skin. So I thought, well, I better be a good patient. I better get my photos. And when I saw those photos, like if you would have asked me 30 seconds before, do you see a change? I would have said no. And I promise I would have said no. I saw those photos and I about fell out of my chair because I was like, holy cow, the difference in the lines around my mouth were 90% improved. So a lot of people who have been other places, they say, I've tried everything. I've done everything. I've done every single skincare product out there. I ask them, first question, did you see before and after photos? And the majority of them say no. And that's why I explain, that's the most important thing because I have to prove, if you're going to spend this money, I have to prove to you that we've done our job and that we're showing you results. So patience, which I don't have much of,
Me either.
but patience, you have to continue along that process and just explain and explain and explain that it's going to take time.
Well, there's a reason that Dr. Jacobs and Ooh La La Spa Anti-Aging and Wellness has been around for 15 years, and it looks like for another 15 at least. How about that? And Dr. Jacobs, you segued this perfectly because before I let you go, I always appreciate your insights, but I wanted to get an update on the training academy, the Art Training Academy. Fill us in. The last time you were on, things were getting rolling. How's it going?
So it's going great. I really could live in this academy. I think it's so pretty. I love it so much. It's just so peaceful and wonderful. And you can see behind me, I have a lot of medically related, but it's beautiful art. So it's going great. We are in the process of starting some beginner injectable programs. I've done the more advanced trainings, and as much as I love those, I know that we need to touch beginners as well. So I am in the process. I'm hoping to get one done before the end of the year, but if not, it'll be first of the year.
Well,
get it ready.
Well, and I know that this is such a needed resource too. I mean, we've talked about that before, how needed the Art Training Center or the Art Academy was, but I also wanted to circle back to your book, if it's okay, which is it available at KristenJacobs.com as well?
Yes, and that's actually the best place to get it. It sounds silly, but if you get it off of Amazon, it's a soft cover and the pictures aren't as great. So if you go to our website, it'll direct you to get to the book, and it's a hardcover, and the pictures are so much better. And if you don't mind, do you have like 30 more seconds that I can talk about it just for a second?
Oh, that was my segue question. Absolutely. Okay. The floor is yours, Senator.
So I think it all goes back to the conversation that we just had about doing all these different treatments. So when I started the process of writing the book, I thought, you know what? I'm going to get 5 patients and I'm going to throw everything at them. I'm going to do every bit of skincare and every bit of treatment, and we're going to see what the results are. Well, when it all really came down to it, and I had put an ad out on Facebook, and we had like 40 women reach out and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I took a step back, and what I realized is that, and it's not that I realized, I knew it, but what I came to the conclusion was that I need to be able to show different treatment plans, different monetary levels, basically, because it comes down to that, and be able to show results. So I believe there are 23 patients in this book, and we do simple, one product, one treatment, and you see results. Or you can go all the way up to that Mac Daddy, kind of like we threw everything at him, all the treatments, all the products. And the gal that we did that to, she looks 10 years younger. And you can see those in the book. So that's why I say it's really important to go to our website and not the Amazon copy, because it just didn't print off very well. But you can actually see the before and after results. And this was a life-changing process for me. But it was obviously a life-changing process for all the ladies that went through it. And the majority of them are still patients to this day. And the book, I think the book's been out 2 years, I think. And, could use a little update because we have new services, but the products are everything. It's the same because it's the same philosophy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Here's what you need to do to have healthy skin. And then the specifics you get when you come in the door, because then we can create that treatment plan for each person.
Absolutely. And, regardless of the procedures and costs associated, I could only imagine the moment that you see the results. I mean, there's no price tag you can put on that smile and that feeling inside going, wow, I feel and look like my best self.
I mean, that's the bottom line. That is what keeps me going, gets me up in the morning, because I love making people feel the absolute best about themselves. And that's what's so great about filler. I do all the injectables in the clinic, but filler means that we put some product in and it lifts us up, and it, gets just plumps everything and brings you back to where you should be. But when people look in the mirror, they get tears in their eyes because they're like, oh, that's what I used to look like. And it makes them feel so good. And the bottom line with the book, with the clinic, with, my life is that it's all about making people feel that they are the best versions of themselves. It's not about looking fake. It's not about looking who you're not. It's really about you look in the mirror, feel good about what you see, and just, we say face the world with your chin up. And that's what it's all about. If I can make somebody feel better about themselves, why not? And why not make everybody just feel amazing?
Absolutely. And Dr. Jacobs, I always appreciate your insights and your time, as you definitely have a little bit more of a busier schedule day to day. And I really appreciate you sitting down with our audience and discussing this very important topic. And congratulations on the 15 years. I mean, that's hard in any industry, any business. 15 years is a testament to your passion, your hard work, and the community supporting you and getting behind you. And I know that you're going to be here for another 15, 30, 45, who knows? We'll just keep it going,
Now we're getting crazy.
For more information on how you can pick up a copy of Live Life Beautifully with a little help, KristenJacobs.com, drchristianjacobs.com, and you'll find out all that information. And the information for Ooh La La is on there, correct, as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is on there, and we did a video series. I think you can even download that. There are a lot of different really awesome options. But I want to say to you, thank you for letting me come on and have a voice. Because not only do I love making people feel better, but hey, I like the pat on the back, and that's what you're doing for me, and I really appreciate it, because Everybody needs a little pat on the back. And I really, 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 truly love coming on, talking to you, and feeling good. Just feels good.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. And I always appreciate your time. With that being said, we're running out of time here on this little bit of a Zoom conference. So why don't we take a quick break before we get sent to the black screen, Dr. Jacobs? How about that? And we'll talk next time. We'll take a quick one. Our Friday morning continues after this quick commercial break.